Oh boy, Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 was the third installment of the futuristic series in the Call of Duty franchise. Some people think that Black Ops 3 is one of the best futuristic titles in the franchise. This mainly had to do with multiplayer and zombies, but Black Ops 3 is very infamous more for having a very unique campaign, and not unique in a good way. I wanted this video to be exactly like the Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2 campaign videos, before I went retrospective on those campaigns. But after replaying the Black Ops 3 campaign, I tried my hardest to find some positives in this game. There was some, but most of the negatives outweigh the positives. It really sucks because Black Ops 3 had an amazing teaser trailer before the game released. Basically followed a Treyarch fashion saying that what happens if the soldier was turned into the weapon. It would have been cool as a story idea, but in the final product, this didn't happen. And well, when I was a kid, I used to play this campaign and I thought it was really bad. Well, when I replayed it again, well, let's just say I was right as a kid too. So basically for this video, I'm going to be explaining what happens in the story because it's one of the most confusing stories ever in Call of Duty. Basically, the game doesn't even tell you. You have to read it up on your own. And also along the way, we'll talk about the stuff what I don't like, and later on talk about the positive stuff what I like about this campaign. And so, well, there's gonna be spoiler warning. Actually, you know what? I don't even care about the spoilers at this time. It doesn't really matter because when you finish the game from start to finish, you're still confused as hell. Once you hear the explanation for the game, it doesn't really matter to even play the campaign, as it's just basically pointless. But before I get to the explanation, I want to say something about my channel first. In my Black Ops 2 video, I started a sub-goal. The sub-goal was to hit 5k, so when I hit that mark, I'm gonna do a Q&A stream, as it will be my first stream for this channel. Well, I think I want to hit it around towards the end of August, so practically in 2 months. I would prefer if I hit it earlier. Right now I'm sitting at 2k subscribers, so I would appreciate any new viewers or any returning viewers who subscribe right now, and to check out my other stuff too. But with that out of the way, let's go back into the video. For this part of the video, I'm going to be explaining the campaign ending, and also to the negative parts of it. So in the classic Treyarch fashion, there's a twist to it. Not really a good twist, it's almost like an M. Night Shyamalan movie twist. And a real bad one at that too, because there's no build-up or anything or even hints of it actually happening. Throughout the whole campaign, after the first mission, your character, the player, your character, is dead the whole time. We're revealed by this through text, not by seeing it, only through reading it. In the first mission, when it starts, you know, with the black screen and it shows that massive wall of text that goes really down fast. If you're recording or see a video of it and pause it, you can read the text and it's Taylor's journal. And he says that right after this first mission, the player died after getting jumped by the robots, prison style, and well, he didn't survive the surgery. Throughout the whole game, after the first mission, it's been all in our head as our brain is dying. Basically, the player is trying to pass over. As thanks to the surgery which gave him the DNI, he's allowed to be in his conscious state while trying to pass over. As throughout the whole game, it's been all inside his dying head. He never went on these missions, he never met Hendrix after this, and he never met Taylor after this too. It's been all inside his head. I want to get more deep into this with this story idea, more into the positive section. I'm more on the negative section, and I want to talk about the negatives about this game. And also too, there's two stories that are going on in this game. Basically, there's two timelines in this Reddit post that basically explain the whole thing. There's two timelines that are going on. One has to do with Taylor and one has to do with you. One has to mainly do with you is just the base of the game. Which is very confusing and not very rewarding, as basically the whole story just insults the player as you have to do homework in order to understand the campaign. Also too, the same thing too with the Taylor portion. The only reason you know about the Taylor portion is by reading the journals at every mission start. Where you read the journals is the fast moving text. Alright, I know it's a little bit confusing, but throughout the game we're playing as the player. But in actuality, we're playing as Taylor, and we're fighting a different group of people. As in the game, we see that Taylor is the villain, but he's actually not. It's some other group that Taylor is fighting for. We're all fighting against. Basically, in this campaign, there's no really villain. There's just too many antagonists that doesn't even really seem as a villain. First, it was the 54 Immortals, Taylor, the other team members, now Hendrix, the CEO, and then Corvus at the end of the mission. Too much jumping antagonists in this campaign, and none of them even feel that impactful. They really don't even affect the player at all, as it's basically all in his head. So we're not really being damaged at all. For the Taylor's portion, he's finding another similar team like him. That's why we're fighting in the main story. From our point of view, we are fighting Taylor, as basically it's Taylor finding another group that's just like his group. I know it sounds very confusing, but blame the writers or blame the people who made the campaign. And also too, you want to know another thing that messes with your mind? In chronological order, the first mission is the last mission, and the last mission is the first mission. As the last mission is the beginning of Taylor's journey, and the first mission is the end of our journey. Which is a stupid another twist. There's no build up for it, or there's no even foreshadowing that this is happening. The only reason you know about it is you read through the fast text at every beginning mission. Basically, that's the whole story explained, as it's just mainly more focused on the player, and well, I didn't really need to tell you about the trailer portion because it's really pointless to even talk about. It's not even the main focus, even though that's the true part of the story. And so, big things that I don't like about this campaign. The first mission, which towards the end, is that when you get killed by the robots. I really hate this scene. I feel like it's just doing it for shock value. In my opinion, I think it's just being overly edgy for no reason. Well, actually, this whole game has some edgy parts to it. Just doing it for shock value just to be gore for no reason. I will never understand why the robots completely eviscerate you. They're robots, they're meant to kill you efficiently, not dry out the victim. I don't know, I was just always bothered to this as a kid, which is basically my demographic that's for edginess, and well, it never sit right with me, it just did it for shock value. And also too, for the second mission, which has the most quotable quote in this game, as everyone only remembers this, the scene where Taylor says, "Train go boom."
Train go boom.
Which he sounds like a toddler saying it, and I have no clue why they kept this dialogue in, as most of the dialogue in this game kinda sucks. It doesn't have that Treyarch writing style, it's more like a different style. And also too, why did Taylor have to keep saying "train go boom"? It would have been fine if he just said it once, but he says it multiple times in the second mission.
Outcome? Train go boom. What do you think I'm gonna say next? Outcome. Train go boom.
Which makes it more goofy and lose interest in the story. It seems like it doesn't take itself seriously. In fact, this whole campaign has two different tones. I don't know why, but when I replayed this again, for the first part of the portion of the game, it didn't feel like a Treyarch campaign. It felt like a different, generic Call of Duty campaign. It was very mediocre for the first couple parts of the missions. Towards the end, when you reach the Egypt level, it starts to become a Treyarch game and starts kind of get really good. But it feels like a drastic change and not being very subtle at all, as it just switches to that Treyarch style. But then it loses this style after when you kill Hill and you go into the weirdest, trippiest mission ever in the game. I think even Call of Duty as whole. Because this mission is Demon Within. Before I get into it, I'm not a person that does drugs, but whatever they were on when making this mission, I want a bag of it. Because whatever they saw in this trip when making this campaign, it must have been really good to make one of the most weirdest and insane missions ever. As in this mission, we're basically inside Hall's head. We're trying to get information on why she's going crazy and why the rest of the team is going crazy. Of course, for your section as a player, as it's just basically all in your head, as this is not really happening at all. It's just your dying brain processing, trying to press over. This is one of the most stupidest missions ever. Right after you beat the boss Hall fight, you go inside her head. Well, like I said earlier, it's just basically a huge drug trip. Apparently there's a baby now, the baby catches on fire, and now suddenly you're at the fields of World War II, as apparently Hall imagined this battle by reading it. She remembers every detail of the battle, almost like she fought in it, even though we're in the goddamn future and this was back in World War II. And now we're fighting Germans. And also too, throughout the whole thing when we're fighting the Germans, Hall reveals that why they're doing this stuff because they got mind controlled by an AI, that they wanted to use it so they could destabilize the world. But I couldn't take this plot reveal seriously because we were fighting on the fields of World War II and it seemed very goofy. Because even both the soldiers have futuristic weapons. Now I don't want to be harsh, but this is kind of lazy because they should have put World War II weapons. It's like they were on thin time, so they had to do whatever they had to. But this plot reveal is just killed in a matter of one mission, and this mission too. This mission kills the whole vibe of the whole campaign. It just makes it very goofy and not even believable at all, as it just basically jumps the shark. And not a very good one at that too. And out of nowhere there's dire wolves that come outside of the woods that finish off the soldiers, as she said that dire wolves finish off the rest of the soldiers. But here's the thing that's stupid and lazy. Dire wolves, the actual animal, is extinct. So why in the hell are we killing an extinct animal? And plus two, which is another lazy thing, they had the same sounds and animations and death as the hellhounds. Which I could say is a nod to zombies, but it doesn't feel genuine, it feels forced. And before I say this too, there's a zombies portion in the campaign. What the hell were they thinking? Now, I thought this was like a nod, but no, this just goes on forever. He even plays the classic zombie sounds, or even with her Black Ops 3, the round changing too.
What the hell is that?
And they have the yellow eyes too. But this just feels forced and weird for no reason, and when I replayed this, I was just laughing throughout the whole way because how absurd it was. This mission definitely killed the whole vibe of the whole game. for me too, because I was gonna make this a normal video like the Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 campaign videos, but I couldn't bring myself to it. But after replaying this mission again, I just changed my mind. I forgot to that in the mission 2, I completely forgot this as when I was a kid, but apparently one of the bosses is a recently transformed tiger tank. It transforms into a mech right in front of your eyes. And when they made this section part of the game, they were definitely on something. This mission, the Demon Within, is not the only one, as the last mission also does something similar to this too. To go into something similar drug trip, basically something like this, but not as intensive as this. So which is very stupid because there's 3 antagonists in this mission with Hendrix, but he dies, the CEO, then he dies, and then finally Corvus. Apparently Corvus has been the villain the whole time. There's no build up, no nothing about that either too. And there's some other things that really get me ticked off about this game. And that is, this game is called Black Ops 3. But the thing is, it has nothing to do with the Black Ops franchise. Only mentions we get to Black Ops are when they name drop Raul Menendez out of nowhere, and when they name drop Nova 6, as apparently that chemical caused Singapore to fall and for the main building to kill Kane. But those 2 name drops are the only thing we get reference to the old Black Ops games. That's it, nothing else. And I think it makes sense because we're too far in the future for them to be mentioned at all. That's another thing that's wrong with this game. We don't even get an established characters yet. Our character is just super generic, and the other characters we don't even get enough time to get some light shine on them. There's no clear connection to these characters at all, and we don't care even if they die. In fact, I think most of these characters are not even memorable at all. I think mostly people remember Taylor because of the stupid line he says, "Train go boom." That's about it. As to me, I think Hendrix is more of a knockoff of Harbor from Black Ops 2. And the other ones are just too unmemorable to think about. So like I said earlier, this does not feel like a Black Ops game. It has 2 different tones that makes it seem like it's a different game and a Black Ops game too. It's just very weird. The thing was, it has no connection to the other Black Ops series, just with those 2 name drops, but I feel like they should have just called it something else. I don't know what type of titles you could call it. I don't know, Call of Duty Dream Warrior, Call of Duty Johnny Got His Gun, or Call of Duty Insane in the Membrane. Those are some of the alternative titles I could think of for this type of game, but I want to see if you guys can name some alternative titles for Black Ops 3. One last big negative thing about this game is that you don't feel like you're a super soldier, or a cyber soldier as the game describes. Black Ops 3 was going to be the 3rd installment in the futuristic series. It had to do something better than Advanced Warfare, which means increases the movement and the abilities to move around freely, but none of that helps that you just feel like a regular soldier. And this is in campaign, and also too, when I played it when I was young, I felt that in multiplayer too. You didn't feel like a super soldier, as compared to Advanced Warfare, which I think does a better job with the futuristic stuff. The exosuits that you're allowed to freely move anywhere, as you can move in any direction, but Black Ops 3 never did this. I'm not sure if Infinite Warfare has done this because I haven't played that game, because that was one of the first futuristic Call of Duty games I skipped. Practically mostly everyone was tired of this futuristic stuff. Yes, they heard the complaints, so they toned it down with Black Ops 3. I think it still kills the game because the movement system, they never got it right with the futuristic style. I think it was slightly better in Advanced Warfare, but then it started to go downhill in Black Ops 3. But again, I have not played Infinite Warfare, so I don't know that movement system yet. In the Black Ops 3 campaign, you just feel like a regular soldier. Apparently you're supposed to be the specialized unit, but you don't. You just feel like a regular soldier, and that even the trailers tease this too, that you're going to be this unique soldier top of the line. In the final product, that never happens. So you do hack stuff and have this DNI thing that helps you with the technology, you just feel like just a regular soldier, nothing enhanced, that's it. I'm mostly talking about the movement and well meleeing and the strength of it, because I think Advanced Warfare did a better job with it. Also too, I think Advanced Warfare did a better story than Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 doesn't practically have a story. It's not basically the fundamentals of a story. It's just very complicated and too weird to even wrap your hand around it. Even when I explain it earlier, it can still get confusing. It just adds more questions and none of them are going to be answered at all. So those were the negative things I thought about with the Black Ops 3 campaign. Now finally onto the positives of the game. Massive positive thing I like about this game is the story idea. Because the story idea is really cool. Soldier dying and he's trying to pass over, but we use technology to help him pass over. Well, the soldier has no clue he's dying, and well, he thinks this is all a dream. Basically, Ghost in the Machine type of sci-fi story. But Black Ops 3 does not do a good job in telling that or executing it. I gotta praise for the writers that they had a neat idea, but they didn't really have good execution on it. Is this meant to say like, can we use technology to help people pass over, or should we just let it be and just let it be? It's kind of a neat idea, but a little bit too grander for a COD campaign, which is surprising because most of the COD campaigns are not that really deep in the meaning of it. Like with this one's deep with the meaning, but again, it's not executed really well. There's other alternatives they could have done, like Ghost in the Machine, where they have the soldier die and his body gets transferred to a robot, and he has no clue that he's in a robot as he thinks he's still alive. Or later on, he gets transferred into a computer and he starts to control some of the robots. Some of these are ideas for a story just like similar to this, Ghost in the Machine. I like how they took the sci-fi setting and tried to put it into this one, and if they succeeded, it could have been one of the most saddest Call of Duty campaigns ever. And I like how they still kept in with the surgery thing bit, as there's some foreshadowing to it. Very subtle, but you have to read into it in order to get the foreshadowing. As whenever the characters snap their fingers and ask you, are you still with us?
Hey. Still with us? Hey. You still with us?
Yeah, just...
Hey. You still with us?
This is because you're in the process of going surgery. As well, the surgeons are trying to save your life and they're trying to keep you awake. Of course, in your dying state, you think it's other characters and not the doctors. This is a neat detail that I really like in this game. At least it shows some semblance that they try to get this story pretty straightforward. Something must have happened and it just led to a confusing mess. But still, this story idea should be praised, and should be praised too that they try to do this for a Call of Duty game. This would have been one of the most unique campaigns ever, and plus one of the most saddest ones too. I think if that happened, if everything went well, it would have been talked about to this day still. Other things I like about this game is that the lore for the background for the setting of this game. I know it doesn't matter because what happens in the game, but still it should be still talked about as a really cool set piece. As basically there's a new Cold War going on and climate change has ravaged around the planet, causing a lot of powerful storms around the world and causing people to move inland. Of course, tensions rise from this, new powers are formed, but that's only for the beginning part of the game and that's it. Later on, we do see how powerful this storm is with the Singapore mission, but that's about it. Really sucks they didn't really take advantage of this, but it would have been a really cool setting for it. But other things I like about the campaign is the loadout system and the upgrade system too. In some certain points in the campaign, if you level up, you can upgrade your weapons, give them more attachments, add more perk cards to you, and get a whole access to all the whole loadouts, which is a complete upgrade from Black Ops 2, and they did it really well with this. Also too, you can upgrade your cyberware, where it's similar to cyberware, it's just increasing your cyber abilities of what you can do. For me, I went for the green route, I forgot what it was called, but I only stick with this route for the rest of the game, but you could upgrade the rest. And also too, you could level up in the campaign and then you could use them all interchangeable. For the campaign, it makes it kind of unique. It's like they didn't do it to the other future Call of Duty campaigns, especially for the future Black Ops titles, like for Black Ops 4, which has no campaign, or Cold War. Kinda missed that you could change your loadout and upgrade some things along the way, but it was only for this game and that's about it. And well, I think there's two missions that are really good for this game. The first one I'm going to be talking about is the Egyptian mission, which was basically the E3 mission when they showed off Black Ops 3. Which is really funny because I felt this mission felt in the same style as the regular Treyarch games. It had a similar style to that type of missions they did for BO2 and BO1 and for War at War. Playing that section and mission, it felt like a proper Black Ops game, not just like generic ones with the other missions. Of course, the other section, the vehicle section, which is mandatory for every Call of Duty campaign, or where you drive the jet. But I kind of sort of like this section because you're a little bit hand-holded and you're not really free to do anything, but it's still a really cool vehicle section. Then again, what can you go wrong with a vehicle section in Call of Duty? I think most of them are all really good. But I think that's enough positives to talking about the game, and we're practically nearing the end of the video. Sorry, I wish I could have treated this as a normal COD campaign retrospective, but I couldn't due to how bad this campaign is. But to me, I'm a person that gives every game a chance, and I did find at least some good qualities about this game. And I want to point out some of the positives because it's not really all a lost cause. It's still kind of a good game, but if you just turn off your brain, well, fully turn off your brain, I think you can enjoy Black Ops 3. Or well, for the campaign section, because if you just rebuying Black Ops 3 either for PC, just buy it for zombies, or even 2 if you want, just play Dead Ops Arcade 2, or just play modded zombies. And so, we're gonna go to the closing thoughts section. For Black Ops 4, it could have been a really unique campaign, and also too, one of the most saddest ones too, if it fully went with the idea of the Ghost in the Machine type of setting. But instead, we get a really confusing campaign that basically, in my opinion, insults the player. Also too, some amazing dialogue like Train Go Boom. In my opinion, I think Black Ops 3 is one of the weaker points in the futuristic style when Call of Duty was going around this time. But in terms of the campaign, it did really well with zombies and multiplayer. But if you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys have a nice day. This is Mazer Argo signing out.